Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the
Nike just declared war on the WNBA's status quo. As the league's TV ratings cratered to embarrassing new lows without Caitlin Clark, the swoosh unleashed a legendary commercial for her that puts every other player's marketing to shame. This wasn't just a shoe ad, it was a perfectly timed power play, a cold and calculated move designed to crown their new queen and expose the uncomfortable truth that Clark isn't just part of the league. She is the league. This is the story of how one commercial changed everything.
At least we saw something. We saw something from Nike about her PE. And they finally released a PE. Paige Becker's already got a PE. Jewel Lloyd's got multiple.
To understand just how brutal Nike's timing was, you have to look at the numbers the WNBA was trying to hide. This past week, with Caitlin Clark off the court due to injury, 3 separate WNBA games were aired on national television, featuring some of the league's biggest and most heavily marketed stars. The Chicago Sky with Angel Reese took on the Sparks and pulled in 240,000 viewers. The Minnesota Lynx, led by the incredible Nafisa Collier, one of the best players alive, managed just 220,000 viewers. And in what should have been a marquee matchup between two of the league's powerhouse teams, the Connecticut Sun and Las Vegas Aces, the viewership was a shockingly pathetic 100,000. If you add all 3 of those games together, you get a combined total of 560,000 viewers. Now, here's the punchline. Caitlin Clark's lowest rated game this season pulled in 581,000 viewers all by itself. One single player on her absolute worst day is a bigger television draw than 3 games filled with all-stars combined. This isn't an opinion, it's the cold, hard math that serves as the terrifying backdrop for Nike's stunning new move.
So Nike finally released their trailer for Caitlin Clark's sneaker. They finally did. And a lot of people thought that what Nike were talking up, they were going to be, talking up like Caitlin might have been getting her signature shoe. They might have been talking up potentially Caitlin getting that signature shoe. And it would have been really cool if Caitlin got her signature shoe. But let's be real, that was never happening. That was never, ever, ever happening.
Against that bleak landscape of collapsing ratings, Nike dropped a commercial that is nothing short of a masterpiece. This isn't some cheap thrown together social media clip, it's a full-blown cinematic experience, dripping with a moody, atmospheric quality that is usually reserved only for legends like Michael Jordan or LeBron James. We see Clark lacing up her new Kobe 5 Pro player exclusives, but the real genius is in the storytelling. By tying her directly to Kobe Bryant's iconic brand, Nike is making a bold and undeniable statement that transcends the WNBA. They are placing her in the pantheon of basketball gods. The most brilliant touch is the snake eyes effect, a brief, chilling moment where Clark's eyes flash with an otherworldly focus, a direct homage to Kobe's legendary Mamba mentality. Nike isn't just selling a shoe here, they are building a myth. They are anointing Clark as the heir to one of basketball's most sacred and revered legacies.
And by the way, I know she doesn't have a signature shoe, but this is the first time in 5 years that there is a player that has had their own Kobe. Available 30th of the 6th in selected regions.
And this is where the story gets really awkward and complicated. For years, the established face of Nike in the WNBA has been the phenomenal Aja Wilson. She is an absolute force of nature, a 2-time MVP, a champion, and by all accounts, one of the most dominant players in the entire world. Wilson is so respected that she's getting her own signature shoe, the Aja 1, a monumental achievement reserved for the absolute elite of the sport. But the optics of this situation are just brutal. Nike just released a commercial for Caitlin Clark's player exclusive. To be clear, not even her main signature shoe that is grander, more cinematic, and generating infinitely more buzz than the entire buildup for the reigning MVP's own signature line. It puts Wilson in an impossible and deeply unfair position. She has done everything right, reached the pinnacle of her sport, yet she has to sit back and watch a rookie get the kind of coronation and marketing firepower that she and every other veteran in the league could only have dreamed of. It's a silent but deafening statement from Nike about where their priorities and their money now lie. This leads to the big looming question: was Nike's massive delay in giving Clark this spotlight a sign of staggering corporate incompetence? Or was it a 4D chess move all along? For months, fans have been screaming into the void, watching Nike seemingly ignore its most marketable athlete on the planet. They watched her shatter viewership records, sell out every single arena she played in, and move more merchandise than established NBA stars, all while getting the same generic cookie-cutter marketing as everyone else. But then you look at the timing. Was it just a coincidence that this epic ad dropped the exact same week that non-Clark WNBA ratings completely cratered, providing the most dramatic contrast imaginable? Was it an accident that it was released while Clark was sidelined with an injury, ensuring she dominated the sports news cycle even when she wasn't on the court? It's hard to say for sure, but it almost feels too perfect to be an accident. It's possible Nike played dumb, waiting for the most impactful moment to unleash this campaign and remind everyone in the sports world who really holds all the cards. Make no mistake, this shoe release is a cold, calculated business strategy. The Kobe 5 Protro PE is a test run, a way for Nike to dip its toe in the water before unleashing a financial tidal wave. They know the demand for anything with Caitlin Clark's name on it is absolutely off the charts. These shoes will sell out in seconds, and the secondary resale market will be completely absurd, with pairs likely fetching thousands of dollars from collectors and fans. With this release, Nike is gathering undeniable data, proving to their shareholders, their doubters, and the entire world that Clark isn't just a popular WNBA player. She is a commercial juggernaut on the level of their biggest global icons. When her official signature shoe finally drops next year, they will have a mountain of evidence to justify a launch campaign that could be one of the biggest and most expensive in the company's history, and every dollar will be worth it. The ripple effects of this single commercial will be felt across the entire sports industry. It sends a clear and potent message to other brands like Adidas and Under Armour, who are probably kicking themselves every single day for not signing her when they had the chance. But more importantly, it has the potential to fundamentally change the conversation around how women's sports are marketed. Nike just provided a masterclass, proving that when you invest top-tier A-list male athlete level resources into a transcendent female star, the return isn't just positive, it's explosive. This also puts immense pressure on the WNBA itself, which has often tried to promote the league as a whole, sometimes at the expense of highlighting its one true, undeniable superstar. Nike's commercial is a direct challenge to that philosophy. It boldly argues that true sustainable growth comes from hitching your wagon to a generational talent, not from pretending that everyone on the roster has the same drawing power. The true genius of this commercial lies in the details most people miss. The sound design is a perfect example. It starts with the roar of the crowd and the noise of the media, but as Clark focuses, it all fades away, leaving only the sound of a bouncing ball and her own heartbeat. This is a psychological trick to pull the viewer into her mind, to make them feel her immense focus. The cinematography is dark, moody, and cinematic, not the bright, poppy colors you see in typical sports ads. This frames her as a serious, almost mythical figure, not just a happy-go-lucky athlete. Every element, from the empty arena symbolizing her singular focus to the subtle wardrobe choices, was designed to build a specific persona, a lone warrior, an artist obsessed with her craft. This isn't just an ad, it's carefully crafted propaganda designed to elevate her to a status no other female basketball player has ever occupied. You can be sure that when the WNBA's front office saw this commercial, they watched it with a mix of awe and absolute terror. It puts them in an impossible position. On one hand, they desperately need Caitlin Clark. Their broadcast partners like ESPN and ABC are building their entire schedule around her, giving her primetime slots while other teams play on obscure channels. On the other hand, the league has to maintain the illusion that it supports all its players equally. The more Nike and the media anoint Clark as the chosen one, the more resentment builds among veteran players who feel disrespected and overlooked. The WNBA is now facing a nightmare scenario. If they lean too hard into the Clark phenomenon, they risk alienating their other stars and creating a toxic locker room culture across the league. But if they don't, they look completely out of touch as their biggest sponsors and media partners leave them behind. It's a golden goose that's threatening to burn the whole farm down. Don't be fooled into thinking this is just about a signature shoe. Nike is already playing a much bigger game. This commercial isn't just launching a product, it's laying the foundation for an entire business empire. The ultimate goal here isn't just to give Clark a shoe deal, it's to build a Clark brand within Nike, a multi-billion-dollar entity that could one day rival the Jordan brand. We're talking about a future with dedicated apparel lines, youth basketball camps, and a global marketing presence that positions her as an icon for an entire generation. This strategy isn't about selling shoes to her current fans. It's about creating millions of new young fans around the world who will grow up with her as their hero. Nike isn't just investing in an athlete, they are investing in their next global icon, and this commercial was the first shot fired in a long-term plan for total domination. In the end, this is so much more than just a slick ad for a cool pair of sneakers. It's a paradigm shift captured in 60 seconds of film. With one perfectly executed commercial, Nike validated Clark's untouchable superstar status, exposed the league's most glaring weakness, and threw the entire WNBA power structure into chaos. The ad is a masterpiece. The numbers are undeniable, and the message to other players is chillingly clear. Talent gets you a seat at the table, but only real star power lets you own the entire room. After months of waiting, Nike has finally woken up and decided to publicly back their true queen. The only question left is how long it will take for the rest of the sports world to be forced to bend the knee. If you're as excited as we are to see what's next for the Clark-Nike partnership, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaking up the sports world. What do you think her signature shoe logo should look like? Drop your ideas in the comments below.